All right, so I'm going to start the recording and slowly get us started here. I am Dr. Carolyn Reichert, better known as Dr. C, and I am your program director for the MS Finance program. So thank you for joining me. Ms. Penny Zhang is our program manager, and so she's also available to help answer some questions after the web conference is done, and you'll be seeing from her when she sends out the recording afterwards. We also have some members of our student mentor and ambassador group from Graduate Finance Management Council, GraphMac, and they'll have a chance to speak a little bit later as well. So again, I want to thank you for joining me. We'll talk a bit about enrollment and registration. I know that's very exciting. And so talk about what classes you need to take. I go over here. So the first thing you really should do is make sure you prepare to register. You want to review the academic calendar, and so I'm going to put a link in here to this academic calendar. You can kind of see it here. This is spring, but if you scroll down, you can see you can go look at summer and fall. And these academic calendars have things like regular registration, they have class begin dates, class end dates. And so the calendar is a really useful tool to help you in navigating your courses and in navigating your deadlines in particular, because the university has deadlines, you need to meet them for adding and dropping classes, so you want to do that. You also want to check your enrollment date. That shows up in Galaxy and Orion, and advising kind of went through that, but I'm going to put the advising link in here too. So you can see course registration will go through all kinds of good stuff about, there's the calendar again, checking your enrollment date. Now for summer, everybody starts to enroll at the same time, and I believe it's April the 3rd. I should check my academic calendar. But for fall, people are given different dates. So here you can see open enrollment April 3rd. But for fall, you will have to check that date. You can also research your courses in Course Lookup. So I'm going to go out to Course Lookup because I think it's an important thing to know how to do. So if I go out here to Course Lookup, you can see that it gives me my term and a bunch of different fields I can complete and fill in. It really is one of the more useful tools that you can do, because in addition to Galaxy and Orion, where you can look for classes, you can look for them here. And so I'm going to pick finance courses because we're in finance. So that's what you want, Fin, or if it was accounting, it'd be ACCT. You can see I can search on a lot of different things. I can search on school, I can search on the days of the week, but one of the more useful ones to do is class level. So, and the reason for that is because if I do class level and I do graduate, I don't have to look at undergraduate classes. You can't take undergrad classes. So you want to make sure you're looking for ones that fit your degree. And so you can see this is going to list the schedule of classes. There's no enrollment yet, so these are all open. And this is pretty small. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger here. So you can see the class section, the title, who is teaching it. You can see the day in the room. You can click on here and get more detail about the class and about the instructor. Now you can see the syllabus isn't up here yet, and the evaluation isn't up here yet. So if I was interested in that part of it, I could actually go up here and look at a prior semester, like last fall, and that information would be there. So that can be useful if you want a sense of what does the class cover? Can I get more information besides just my description here? And so that's how that kind of works. If you see something that doesn't have a meeting room, and it is OW, those OW classes are online. They do not meet face-to-face. They're completely asynchronous. So they're recorded, you have discussion boards. So you can see there's a handful of these here that are online, and the others have rooms. So, and then you want to plan your schedule and register for your classes. So the first part of what you want to do is figure out what it is you want to take, what days you want to meet, any limitations you have about online classes, and we'll talk about that in a second. Is there a question? I'm happy to answer your questions. Yes, so you're unmuted. Mikhail, do you have a question? Yeah, and feel free to jump in anytime. I'm happy to answer your questions as we go. Like I said, it's being recorded, so you can watch it later too. But really, in a lot of ways, it's preparing to register that you want to do first. The other thing I will point out is that when you're in Galaxy Orion, it will talk about holds. They will be lifting some of those holds so you can go ahead and register for courses, but some of them will get put back. So for example, there's typically a TB hold. They'll lift it so you can enroll for classes, but then before you come to campus or after you get to campus, you need to take care of any holds that are still there. So just realize because they go once doesn't mean they stay gone. They lift them temporarily. And Dean Powell and Karina Cantua talked about that at their web conference, but I can also address that as well. The graduate catalog is the other thing that you really want to keep track of. If you are starting in the summer, you are under the fall 2022 graduate catalog. If you are starting fall 23, you are under the fall 23 graduate catalog. The graduate catalog is important because it has policies, procedures, and the degree requirements to graduate. One of the big ones is that you need a 3.0 overall GPA and a 3.0 average in your core courses to graduate. So again, I'm going to go bouncing back and forth here and put the link in. If I just go into UTD and I type in graduate catalog, I can also find the same link, but the graduate catalog is what you want. And I see a question in here. All right. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything here. So let's talk about what you should take. So there are 3 program prerequisites. The first one is MAS 6102. It is professional development, and most students need that course. If you think you would qualify for a waiver, those waiver forms are located under advising. So from the JSOM webpage, you go to advising, and then you go to forms. You actually have to apply for that waiver. And the reason you have to apply for that waiver is because those are determined by the Career Management Center, not by the program. And so they're going to look at those criteria to determine if you meet the waiver criteria. And so that's done by them. The other 2, which are calculus and statistics, are done by the program. So they're based on what courses you took as an undergraduate. And we look for classes called calculus, statistics, and econometrics, ideally with a B or better. Now, you should have received an email from us with the prerequisite checks indicating if you need additional prerequisites or not. If you did not get that email, check your junk mail. You should also be seeing it in the next 1 to 2 weeks as they start to go out and filter through the system. Most students do not need either one, but there are some students that need one or the other. They are not part of the 36 credit hours, and they are taken in the first semester. One of the things that happens is sometimes we cannot identify your calculus or more likely your statistics course. That can happen if it's listed under math. So if it's math 1, 2, 3, and 4, you have no idea if you covered stats in there. So if you're told you need a prerequisite calculus or statistics, and you've actually had the course, you may just have to tell us which one it is. So just realize that it's not set in stone. If you've had them and we just couldn't identify it, you can reach out to the program, and we're happy to relook at those. So what does your degree plan look like? Well, it's got 18 credits of core, 6 courses, and 18 credit hours of electives. In the first semester, we typically have you take core. And in particular, we have you take the first 3. So you have a choice of an accounting course. 6305 is accounting for managers. It is a hybrid of managerial and financial accounting. If you've never done accounting in your life, that's probably a reasonable choice. Accounting 6301 is financial accounting, and accounting 6330 is intermediate financial accounting 1. The intermediate financial accounting actually doesn't have a prerequisite, so you can take any of those 3 as part of your finance degree. The second course, Finance 6301, is financial management. And the third one would be Finance 6307, mathematical methods of finance. It's a finance and statistics hybrid, and it uses information from CFA level 1 and 2. We try to get you to take those 3 in the first semester or as early as possible, because they tend to be prerequisites for other classes, including other core classes. So you want to try to knock those 3 out as early as you can. The other 3 you can spread out. So you can take Finance 6318. That's going to be an analytics of finance course. 6352 or 53 is financial modeling. And 6360 is derivatives. You can spread them out. In fact, I would recommend spreading them out. Don't take them in one semester. But for now, coming in, you want to focus on that top line. Accounting, Fin 6301 and 6307. The remaining 18 credit hours of electives, you need 12 credit hours or 4 courses with a prefix of Fin or Real. And the other 6 hours can have a prefix of accounting or business analytics or energy, ENTP. You can take more Fin. We're happy if you take more Fin. You can take managerial economics, that's MECO. You can take IT courses. You can take some OPRE, that's operations research courses. The only exceptions that you can't really use are the 2 prerequisite courses, the calculus and statistics, and managerial accounting. 6202 is a standalone managerial accounting course, and it's because it's really just 2 credits. Most people need 3 credit hour courses. So just remember, 12 credits, Fin or Real. We do have tracks. So you may have noticed we have tracks. They're not on the diploma. They're not on your transcript. They're just recommendations for career paths. And again, we'll send the slides out, but there's a link to some program resources if you want to know about certificates and all those kinds of things, search resources for the program. That's going to be on there as well. The tracks are financial analyst, chartered financial accountant is what we're aligned with. We do have CFA scholarships for level 1. Corporate fin investment banking, which are different career paths, but they use some of the same tools. It tends to be more accounting centric. Real estate, which is commercial real estate, fintech, and then financial management is just the general one. And so, yes, you're welcome to ask a question in the chat or just jump in. I'm happy to answer those. So can you complete it in 1 year? It can be a challenge to do that. So if you're talking about 2 long semesters in the summer, yes, it's doable. You would have to do 5 in the fall, 5 in the spring, 2 in the summer. If you're talking about doing a 6-6 load, that's a very heavy load. So just realize that it's going to limit your ability to do almost anything else. And you would not be doing an internship in that case, if you're an international student at least, because international students need to complete 2 long semesters. So it's possible. It's just a very busy program then. So full-time, and I think that's coming up next. So in the summer, full-time is 2 courses. So you'd want your accounting course and Finance 6301. If it is for fall, full-time is 3 classes, accounting, Finance 6301 and 6307. So, and again, you'll want to take that MAS 6102 as soon as it's available. If you have waivers or transfers, that will change what you take. And I'll talk about those in a moment. So if you're pursuing CFA level 1, is it better to choose financial management or the CFA track? The tracks are just general recommendations. If you're pursuing CFA level 1 and or you were a finance undergraduate, it may make better sense just to do financial management. Financial management is the catch-all. It pretty much lists all of the different electives that you have, and you pick 4 fin, and then 2 can come from fin or other areas that are within the list. I will tell you that, let's say you wanted to take, why you want to take this course, but suppose you wanted to take a marketing course for some reason, that kind of thing, you would have to get permission from me, and there's still very limited on the number of hours you can do outside of fin. But I would say that financial management is sort of the general track. The CFA is really to help people that maybe are just getting ready to do level 1, cover 70% of the body of knowledge for that, 50% of the body of knowledge for level 2. So you can use that as you're comparing back and forth for your classes. But I would kind of use that as a barometer. And so again, the tracks are just recommendations. So you can take things all over the place. 4 fin, 2 from the other list. So if you remember that, you pretty much got it covered. So Dean's Excellence Scholarship, only on the basis of the GMAT score. So the Dean's Excellence Scholarship is based on GPA, GMAT GRE, and the other parts of the application package, but there is a good weight on both GPA and GMAT GRE. So transfers and waivers, they're also on that same advising webpage. So I'm going to click, this is a good place to click on this one. It gives you something else to look at. But it's forms. And so I'm going to scroll down here. You can see there's the waiver and transfer forms. There's the MAS 6102 waiver request. We'll see if it will let me grab this here. Technology, it's great when it's cooperating. So to explain the difference, transfers must be graduate courses. We'll accept up to 9 credit hours of transfer credit. It has to have been completed within the last 6 years, and ideally, the closer it was completed, the better. It does reduce the hours you need to graduate. Waivers, on the other hand, are undergrad classes, and what it lets you do is it's a substitution. So it does not change the hours that you need, it just changes the composition of them. So for example, if I was an accounting major as an undergraduate, I'll just pick at UTD, then I might be able to waive that first accounting course and replace it with something else in accounting. It typically takes 2 undergrad classes to waive a grad class, and again, it doesn't change the hours needed. The question is there a specific threshold for GMAT GRE for scholarship consideration? There isn't. What they do is about every 2 weeks, they look at the pool of applications that they have, and they'll award scholarships to the top students in the pool for that round. That process continues until May 1, at which point they disperse the remaining funds. So there's no specific threshold. I'll tell you our average admitted GMAT is 600. Average admitted GRE is about 308. If you're not above those scores, then clearly you're probably not competitive for a scholarship because scholarship recipients are higher level. So what happens? So the question is, how can we take advantage of the scholarship for CFA level 1? So an email typically goes out near the start of the semester, and it comes from the program, but it's hosted by a Dr. David Cordell, and Dr. Cordell has people apply to those scholarships, and then goes through the applications and awards them as appropriate. So you would get information from the program about how to apply for those and how to do those. So when you get ready to enroll in your courses, you really want to start with your accounting course first, then pick Finance 6301, and then Finance 6307. And the reason for that is that many of these are pre or co-requisites for the other ones. So accounting is a prerequisite for Finance 6301. Accounting or Fin 6301 is a co-requisite for 6307. So you really do want to do them in the order they're listed, in this case, in the catalog. It won't matter on the order after the first semester, but that's how you want to do that. So accounting, then 6301 Fin, then 6307 Fin. So here, I'll just put this in the chat so you guys have it even when I'm scrolling through the slides here. So quick question, appeared for CFA level 3, waiting results. Are there any other considerations? To the best of my knowledge, no, they do not look at professional qualifications for the Dean Scholarship outside of the fact that they may be part of your application package in terms of the resume and those kinds of things. I don't actually handle the scholarship decision, so very specific questions about that probably are better sent to them. But to the best of my knowledge, they do not. So the next section really is just pulling stuff from Coursebook and listing the courses that are available. This happens to be for summer. Summer offerings tend to be fairly thin. So you can see there's the 2 accounting courses, Financial Management 6301. If you really wanted to take an elective, you're probably looking at a very limited selection of free electives, and then you've got the Intro to Real Estate and Regulations. I'm going to talk about this for a second, and then I'll come back to the questions here. And then for fall, I've again listed out the core classes, but you can find all of this in Coursebook, and it's probably a little easier to view in terms of setting it out. But you can see there's several sections of accounting, several sections of finance courses, and professional development. There's usually tons of sections available. And then these are the finance electives you would be able to take in the fall. You can see it's very limited, and that's because many of our electives require Finance 6301. So the sooner you can get that class out of the way, the better. But you can take regulations, intro to real estate, macroeconomics, or fintech, and then you could take a free elective. And there's several really good free electives that are available in the fall. Popular ones often deal with learning programming, whether you want that or not, that's up to you. But SQL is in Buon 6320. That course is very popular. There's a new Buon course, I think it's 6373, which is going to do like an introduction to R and Python. But you may want to double check that number. But that one is actually looking kind of interesting too. Just realize, though, you really have up to 6 credits. So if you take one of them in the fall, that just leaves you one other free credit that you can do. So for the teaching assistantship question, you can apply for it after your first semester. So you need to complete 1 semester and then you can apply. Can we choose any electives from the catalog, whether it falls under some specific track or not? You can choose up to 6 credit hours from master's level courses, so it has to be 6,000 or above. Accounting, Buon, Energy, Fin, MECO, MIS, or OPRE, except for these. Fin 6300 I know isn't available, so you don't have to worry about that one. If you were to take something that is not one of those prefixes, you would have to get permission, and ENTP is also part of this. It's left off of this slide. So no, you can't just choose any elective, and you have to meet the elective's prerequisites. So for example, if I say, hey, I really want to take a strategy course, it's BPS 6310, I won't be able to add it because you won't have the prerequisites, and that one has quite a few of them. It's not one our students normally take. It would not appear on the list, but there are some IMS courses, International Management Studies, and other things. You can get permission for them, but you should ask first, because if you take it and then it's not part of your degree plan and it's not approved, you've paid for a class you cannot use. So yes, you need to be a little bit thoughtful about those prerequisites, or about the prerequisites and about the courses. And we've got some GraphMac members on here who can help with some of that too. Mail talking about to register for stats. So for the person who is asking, if you have a stats prerequisite, I would probably do the accounting course, Fin 6301, and OPRE 6301. So if you need stats, your schedule probably looks like this. I'm going to type it in the chat so you guys have it. And these are in no particular order. And of course, MAS 6102. And then I would probably look at doing an elective. If you wanted to take an additional class, if you wanted 12 hours. If you don't want 12 hours, you obviously don't have to do that. You can spread it out. I would save Fin 6307 until the following semester. You can take it with another core course and make that work. I really don't recommend taking that statistics course, OPRE 6301, at the same time as Fin 6307. You've had people do it. It's kind of painful, but I just wouldn't recommend it in general. Can you apply for spring scholarships? If you are starting in the fall, you would be a new student for fall. You can apply for the fall scholarships. Thank you. Garima jumped in. Current students, it's just fall. So holds are temporary. They temporarily lift them so you can enroll. You may have a hold while they're waiting for official documents like your transcript. So they'll lift those so you can enroll, but then they put them back. So you still need to get your official documents. The TB test has to be completed in the US before you can attend classes. It is a requirement. So they may lift that, and then you enroll. And before you get here, though, you'll need to take that TB test. And international orientation, you do want to report the information you need to ISSO. So again, these are holds they're going to lift, but realize that they will come back. Now, one of the big questions I get is who to ask. I'm great with questions about your courses, your degree, your professional, should I do for my career? CMC can also help with career questions. That's the Career Management Center. Advising office obviously does waivers and transfers and course registration. There are specific offices for specific tasks. So we have a financial aid office, we have scholarships, we have tuition, that's the bursar, admissions. We have ISSO, which does visa and OPT CPT. I do not no, I don't want to speak to visas. So when people ask me visa and I-20 questions, I send them to the iComment portal. And we also have housing. We do have housing available on campus. Once you get your UTD email, you should use your UTD email. It makes it much easier for us to answer your questions and to get things sorted out for you. And yes, the TB test is here in the US. So you've registered for classes and you have a ways to go. You're starting in the summer, which is about a month away, a little more. Or you're taking in the fall and you have quite a ways to go. What can you do while you're waiting? So you can investigate resources at UTD, such as the trading lab, the library, clubs, the Career Management Center. I mentioned the internships. I do want to say a little something about that here. Career Management Center has Handshake that they use for posting both student worker positions and internships and full-time positions. So it all goes through Handshake. That part is different than the assistantship application, and you can be a student worker at any time. It does not have tuition benefits, but you can get paid, and sometimes it can be a gateway to other opportunities. So someone may start as a student worker in the lab and then get upgraded the next semester to a TA. It's important while you're getting ready to identify what you want to do, what skills you need, and potential employers. And you probably will not be able to access Handshake until you've covered your tuition and you're actually here at UTD. And it may be during the professional development class. My GraphMac friends on here can probably answer that better than I can, and they're jumping in helping answer.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. C. So, yeah, just to answer that quick question, when are we able to access Handshake? Yes, you're right. Once you're here on the campus and you're done with enrollment, you should start getting emails how to register for Handshake and access it. So that's the time. Just keep an eye out on those emails.
Yep. Yes, you do want to do that. And it's especially important on internships to start early, really early, earlier than you think. So you're going to get here and it's going to be fall and they're going to be telling you to start working on your resume and applying. And you're going to think, I just got here. But that's what they want you to do. I mean, the companies you're interviewing with will know that you just got here and you're just getting started. But they're pushing back those employment decisions and starting earlier and earlier. So you really want to be thinking about what it is you want to do and where you want to apply. And plan on how you're going to be active here in JSOM. We have tons of student works. As I said, we have GraphMac here today, and they can speak to their activities in just a moment. But develop your skills, go to events, go to workshops, talk to people. It's a great way to network and get involved, and be involved with those different kinds of activities. So let's see if one of our GraphMac folks that's on here, you guys want to jump in and each introduce yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. C. Sorry, I don't have a good setup here, so I hope it's
It's
still
okay.
fine. Hey, hello everyone. So I'm Garima. So a quick introduction. I joined JSOM last year in spring 2022. And so this is my third semester. So I'm actually the president of GraphMac currently. So earlier, as Dr. C said, I looked out for some opportunities because I was really hoping I can get an on-campus job. So I was working as a student worker in finance trading lab, and that actually helped me to get an assistant position in fall. So I was also a TA for the finance lab. Currently, I'm doing my internship with Frontier Airlines in Denver. So before coming here, just a quick background. I have like 5 years of working experience, mainly in corporate finance. So that helped. But I know since you'll all be joining now, so it can be a little overwhelming, especially with all these codes. I know when I was looking at it, Fin, accounting, Nico, everything kind of seems to be overwhelming. But don't worry about it. Dr. C and we'll be here to kind of step you through all the courses and just worry about one semester at a time since it's your first semester. So just take it at one thing at a time and don't forget to have fun, enjoy, collaborate, because as Dr. C said, on-campus activities really help you to kind of get that well-rounded development. So I know when I joined GFMC, that really helped me to kind of work on my soft skills, leadership, communication. So I'll also give you like a quick background on the GFMC, the student organization I'm a part of. So it's a student organization mainly for finance students. It can be for undergrad and graduate, but we focus mainly on the finance activities. And as Dr. C said, you'll come here and then you'll start applying for internships. And a lot of students ask me that I don't have enough professional experience to put on my resume. So this is where the student organizations come in. So we organize case competitions. So just now we organized a very successful case competition which has a financial modeling aspect to it. So you can just participate in that and put those projects in your resume because that's what the companies are looking for. How active were you? Uh, how you made the best use of your time when you were in campus. That's the question we get in our interviews. So make sure to have that campus engagement. We also offer a lot of networking opportunities, and we have a great alumni base who are very helpful and always eager to help the students to navigate their professional journey. So we have like coffee chat sessions and industry professional workshops and alumni roundtable every semester where we invite alumni to come and talk to you so they can help you to navigate their career. How should you work on your resume? How can you work with your mock interviews? So we try to help you with all of that. And other than that, if you have any like personal questions about housing, I know you're coming in, so you must be worried about how to get accommodation figured out and anything else, just feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you. And I think I have three other people from GraphMac today here. So maybe you just want to go ahead and give a quick introduction so that everyone can know who to reach out to.
Sure. Thank you for that, Garima. It was a very crisp introduction about our organization. My name is Shiv Bhanup. I'm serving as the marketing manager for GraphMac, and I joined the MS Finance program in fall 2022. Prior to that, I did my undergrad in India, and I had 3 years of work experience with Citigroup as a credit analyst. Uh, I so like when I had just joined, Garima was a GraphMac student officer at that time as well, and I got a lot of great insight and guidance from her. So I'm just trying to use this platform to pay it forward and help all of you who are coming in. So I know that it can be quite intimidating, you know, uh, starting a new chapter in your life, but we are all here to help you. So, I mean, whenever you have any queries or any doubts, feel free to reach out. You can reach out to us on LinkedIn as well, and we'll be happy to connect. And we really look forward to seeing all of you on campus.
Thank you, Shiv. Thank you, Garima. Hello, everyone. I am Trupti Shinde. I am a General Secretary to Graduate Finance Management Council. I started with UTD as an MS Finance student last summer. So I believe few of you also starting this summer. So I know generally fall intake and spring intake is big, but during summer very limited people join this course, and it is very hard to catch up with your classmates and have knowledge about on-campus activities. This is where GFMC comes into picture. You feel free to reach out to us over LinkedIn, or if you are here on campus, we'll always be there to help you. And thanks a lot for joining us today.
Hi. So sorry for I cannot turn on my video since I'm in the office. So my name is Sagar and I joined the MS Finance program in the spring semester as well. And I'll say that the MS Finance program has given me tons of opportunities. And during the summer semester, I joined the finance lab where I made friends, where I learned new things, worked on projects. And in fall, again, I continued in the lab. I took part in various competitions. And in this semester, I'm currently interning as an investment analyst with Athene. And also, I'm pursuing my CFA. But along with that, I'm still focusing on my subjects back in school because I've got to learn a lot from it. So I'll just say that whatever subjects you choose, take them wisely because each subject you learn a lot. And the opportunities that Dr. C said that every semester there are limited courses. So choose wisely for all the subjects you're looking forward to. And if you have any concerns, you can reach out to us. We are there to help you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you jumping in here and answering student questions. I can answer a lot of questions about curriculum, but housing is really beyond me. And I don't have the student perspective, right? So it's a very different when you're taking courses than when you're sort of managing over them. So just a couple last things to wind us up here, and then we'll open it up to general questions. Best way to reach us is the msfinance@utdallas.edu. You can also email me directly at my personal email, but both Penny and I check the MS Finance one, and we answer to that mailbox as well. Another thing that I wanted to share is at the end of these slides, and we will be sending them out, you will find a suggested course planner and some typical elective offerings by semester. So you can look through this. It's a very busy slide to look at on a web conference, but you'll be able to use this to maybe kind of help plan it out. This is scaled for long semesters. So if you're starting in the summer, it'll look a little bit different. And if you have any questions about that part, you can let me know. The other two things I'd like to share, let's see if I can get out of this part. One is the link to the WhatsApp. I confess, Penny and GraphMac are much better at WhatsApp than I am. I am legendary for my social media, not in a good way, but I'm trying to do better. But we do have a WhatsApp link to share information on some important things like housing and visas and questions you might want to know. Sometimes students are excited to come in. They want to join up with me on LinkedIn. One thing I would ask is if you're doing LinkedIn for me, please make sure you mention you're an incoming UTD student. Otherwise, it should be somewhere in there. It just helps me know and recognize you. And to help you do that, we have something we can share also with you that you can put on your LinkedIn. So let's see if I can make this work. So you can add that to your LinkedIn profile page. I will send this part out. And my profile, my LinkedIn page probably take me a few minutes to get here. I'm not the speediest at my LinkedIn, but I will work on it. It's really sad. I bet the students can get to my LinkedIn faster than I can, but we'll see how fast I can get there. While we do that, if you have questions, you can jump in and you can ask. This is my feed. And here's mine. Oh my gosh, that was faster than usual. So that one is mine. We do have one that's for MS Finance too, and we'll try to send that out along with the slides and everything else. So what would inquiring minds like to know? How can we help you?
I think there was a question, Dr. C, like apart from the 36 credit hours, can we take up any additional elective that would like?
So yeah, UTD does not care if you take more hours. Though I will tell you, if you're an international student, you may have to set it up a little bit because what you do is you take a little bit more hours in the early bit so that you have extra hours at the end, so that you take more than 36 by taking 9 credit hours in the last semester where maybe you only needed 3. The reason for that is simply because you want to be taking classes that align with your visa degree. And what some students will do if they really want to take more classes is they consider a double degree. So they'll get an MS Finance and then a second degree, maybe in analytics or ITM or accounting or whatever that might be, MBA. So that's the other option that you have. Don't have any advice for students who don't have a lot of professional experience in business and finance. The lab is your friend. The finance lab, I put the link in up above. You can see this, the GraphMax students shaking their head. The lab can really help you learn an awful lot very quickly. You'll learn quite a bit in classes while you're waiting. I didn't mention this, but we do have access to LinkedIn Learning through our e-learning portal once you get here. But that's really a great way to get involved. Get involved in student organizations. You'll find more out about the programs and about the career paths available to help you decide what you want. So kind of an ask early, ask often, and ask lots. So is really the best way to get a handle on that part. I don't know if any of the GraphMax students want to jump in on that one.
Yeah, here I would like to jump in. So I am also working as a teaching assistant to the lab, and soon we'll be opening for our student assistant position. So look out for your handshake. And apart from that, I would definitely say that your active participation in the student organizations such as GFMC helps a lot. Like, believe me, currently I am also going through the interviews processes for summer internship, and it really matters when the recruiter can see that you have some campus presence. It really helps a lot. Apart from that, I would suggest you, as soon as you get here, like till mid July, have proper CV and start applying, because that will help you to get ahead of the competition for internship search. And if you don't have, let's say for example, if you have zero work experience, still internship helps a lot when you go out for full-time job search. So like try to work on these 3 to 4 things, you'll be good.
Yeah, and that professional development class will go over strategies. Whether you're planning to just do an internship here and go back to your home country, or whether you're looking to stay in the US, they have strategies to help you look for and think about those internship opportunities. The question, I've been receiving e-learning notifications on UTD email. Okay, so I don't see your email, but I'm going to guess they're like mine. Probably as an incoming student, they have created an e-learning account for you. E-learning is our dashboard. Their two main ones are Blackboard/e-learning and Canvas. So we use Blackboard here. And so whenever anything happens in whatever groups you're in e-learning, is probably sending you the notifications for that. You will eventually be able to turn that off. I don't know how early you can get into e-learning itself. That's again something one of the students can probably jump in for, but it's possible to turn them off. But you don't want to turn too many off. You might miss something. So that's the pain point. Let's see. So that's what that is about that part. By the way, once your classes are started, you will have access to information about those courses in e-learning. And so your faculty may put notifications in there, and they may send an email out that way as part of the class. So just keep that in mind. Do you get to learn technical courses? The answer is it depends. It depends on whether you take them or not. So if you wish to take an elective that does Python and R, you absolutely can do that. I just found out today, this goes to show how fast things change here. There's a brand new offering from Buon, actually, that may be of interest. It looks like it has no prerequisites, and it is Buon 6373. I think I put that in there before. It says Introduction to Programming for Analytics. It is not available to non-Buon students, apparently, but it is available for everybody else. So that's something you may want to look into if you're looking at that. It's you can read the course description again back on Coursebook. It'll tell you more about that particular course. Let's see. The WhatsApp link, is the WhatsApp link only for summer, or is it for fall as well? I believe it's for everybody. I'm going to defer to the folks who do social media. I see head shakes. Yeah, it's for fall.
I mean, yes. I mean, the way I prepared it initially was for summer, but if some people in here are for fall, please feel free to join that group. And if we decide to create a new group for fall, if we have a lot of students and we want to keep the communication a bit separate, then we can send you that link separately too, and then you can join that group too. But for now, please feel free to join this WhatsApp group.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, so that was the follow-up on that one too, asking me to take calculus. So if you're looking, you probably have only one, either calculus or statistics. Very few people have both. But if you have only OPRE 6303, that's the calculus course. That is actually online. And that reminds me of something else. You would do your accounting course, you would do Fin 6301. And then I think if you wish, since you have statistics, I'd go ahead and do the Fin 6307, and the MAS, of course, is just on top of there. Again, you could defer the Fin 6307 if you wanted to, or you could probably just go ahead and take it. The reason with the statistics one is since Fin 6307 is stats, doing two stats classes at the same time, most people aren't too happy about that. But this is calculus and then statistics, and it's probably a little more manageable. And if you needed both of them, you would take the two OPREs and the accounting and just Fin 6301, and you'd be done there. But you'd have 12 credits in the first semester. If you wanted to spread it out a little more, you'd do the two OPREs and the one accounting, and then jump into the two Fin courses in the next semester and some electives. So there's ways to make all of these work. And if you're really worried about trying to figure it out, you can shoot us an email at the MS Finance email address, and we can help you step out exactly what you should need. We usually do go through that part a little bit later, because it does depend upon whether or not you need prerequisites, but the vast majority of you probably don't. And you're just looking at the accounting and the two Fin courses and the MAS. if you want 9 credits. And the thing I wanted to remind you about is if you're an international student, and this is a kind of a big deal, you are limited to the number of online courses you can take. You, in the long semesters, fall and spring, you can take one online class out of your 9 credit hours. So you are limited in how many of those you take. So you want to be a little bit thoughtful about that. ISSO, our International Student Services, is the one that talks about that part in more detail than even I know. But just kind of keep that in mind that there may be some limits on the online courses. Other questions you may have?
Dr. C, I have a quick question.
Sure.
So, what is a grading system used in the program? Is it relative grading or absolute grading?
So it just depends on the course and the instructor, actually. So some are more relative grading, some are more absolute. That would be laid out in the syllabus for the course. There's usually a bit of both, actually. So, again, it depends on what you're doing for your classes. So if you're doing, let's say, cases are always going to be a bit relative. So you have to meet certain standards. That's the absolute part. But then your answer, how it compares to others, would be relative. As opposed to something where maybe it's just a numerical exam that's a little less subjective, even though we could haggle about that too. It's a 4.0 scale for the GPA, so it's a little bit different scaling. But again, it just kind of depends on what the instructor sets up, what you're asked to do for that particular course.
Right, thanks.
Yep. It's interesting you ask that because I took a teaching seminar and they made us think about how even when we're doing problems, our grading scale does have some subjectivity in it, right? So if you forget to do X, how many points do you take off for that? So just food for thought. Other questions that you might have? All right, well, I am going to go ahead and stop the recording. And again, thank you for joining us. We will send out the slides and the link to the audio. Make sure that if you have any questions that you reach out to us, we're happy to help you. We're here for you. And welcome to UTD and the MS Finance program. We're super excited to meet you in person and to have you join the program. Sometimes I forget the niceties and say, just sort of jump into things. But, as your program director, I do want to say I'm really excited to have you here. And I'm looking forward to working with you as you go through your degree. So welcome. And with that, I will tell you to have a fantastic weekend. We'll stay on here for a few minutes, but I will shut off the recording. So let's go ahead and stop that.